Hello, and welcome to the Swift Talk. I'm Kait, the Swiftie.
And I'm dressed up in the best Krampus sweater ever. Not so Swift Sam.
I'm Mary.
Yes.
Very Mary. TikTok shop. Because I bought it off TikTok.
As long as it's legal still.
What's a little pin you got on this shirt?
The devil. This is a inherited sweater.
Okay, it looks it.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Believe it or not, the person who used to own this probably half of my size. But if it's nice, it's warm and it's festive.
Very nice.
Very nice indeed.
Well, guys, no Eras tour, so much more to talk about.
So much more to talk about.
So much more to talk about.
What are we talking about?
This is the last episode before Christmas.
It is our last episode.
Yes.
We're wishing all of you a merry Swiftmas.
Yes. Happy holidays. Hope you survived Whamageddon.
You'll see us before the new year.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will.
Barely.
On
the new year.
Yeah.
So we'll wish him a happy new year next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're unwrapping this podcast for the first time, what a present.
Welcome. So Travis threw Taylor a party. A surprise party.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
He threw her an Eras Tour themed party.
Look upon all of your works and weep, Taylor.
He called an audible.
He called an
Yeah, he
audible.
said we're going to dinner. And he showed up kind of casual and she had a little black dress on. And then they get there and it was an Eras Tour party.
Wow.
Light up bracelets, friendship bracelets. They had microphones, they had props, the willow capes and orbs, the lover dance floor.
Holographic snake. Hologram snake.
No, we're not. We haven't done that. No, we haven't seen that yet. But guess who got the 22 shot hat at the Eras Tour? Travis's version.
Guess who got the 22 hat?
In the movie when the little girl was there and Taylor takes her hat off and puts it on her head.
Come on, get with the program. Even I know that. I just didn't know it was called 22.
Yeah,
She was feeling 22. Okay, yeah.
'Cause that's a
yeah.
song.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, she did that there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I remember now. I saw that. I
It came
remember.
back to you. It came
remember.
back. So she, guess who got the hat?
Was she giving it or was he giving it?
Travis gave it.
I mean, he gave it to Taylor?
Yeah, he gave it to Taylor.
Okay, that
Taylor got
makes
the
the most
22
sense.
hat. It was so exciting. Those pictures were just so cute.
She's like, I have 500 of these back home I'm trying to sell. What are you doing?
And she had he wore his outfit that he wore on stage with her in Paris? London?
When he's dressed up as one of the backup dancers in the suit?
London.
Yeah.
It was a great time. They had the cleaning cart that she comes out in. He put a lot of time, a lot of effort.
Was it a cleaning cocktail cart?
No, just, because they wheel her in
Yeah.
the janitor's cart.
Right. I just feel like that would have been more fun if you're like, and surprise, it's all the booze. Everyone
They
look
had
where she's
themed
been hiding.
cocktails. So yeah, we started off. It literally came out as we were pulling out of Jason's driveway from recording last week.
Cool.
It's like, come on. So we're a week behind, but those pictures just kept coming out all week.
Did he propose? Did he?
Who could say?
He
Who
could
could
say.
say?
She could say. Anyone at the
could
party
say?
could say.
But
So-
she was at the Chiefs game this week without that particular piece of jewelry on, so I don't think so. Yeah.
Well, at the games, she wants to make sure that he's the only one that wears the ring.
It was their last home game, so this might be the last time we see Taylor till
That's
the playoffs.
true. This season, I mean,
flew.
yeah, everything flew by.
And right before she walked in, it was announced that she donated $250,000 to Operation Breakthrough, a Kansas City nonprofit that helps low-income families get quality child care.
That's
Because
fantastic.
as I learned this week, it costs as much, if not more, to put your child through preschool and daycare to get them to elementary school as it does to put your child through college.
Yeah. Yes. Crazy difficult expenses, especially if you're a single income parent, even if you're a double income parent. While that is fantastic, it feels like this is how she's going to get into politics. But
I don't think so. This is very on brand for Taylor.
sure,
I think-
no, it's very on brand.
Yeah, I
It's very on
don't
brand.
think that's.
She's just throwing down some strong roots. I'm just saying, like, now the option's going to be there.
I think that kind of cheapens a little bit, but
Queen of Kansas City.
I think that it's interesting to see her really put these roots down because we've seen her do it a couple times in the beginning when she moves to Nashville. She gets very country. Then she moves to New York. We get 1989. She's spending more time in LA. We're getting the folklore storytelling because she's influenced by LA in the movies and the lockdown. And now we're in Kansas City, and it's like, well, what is Kansas City going to do to influence?
Oh, people. Let me help people.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see her putting down roots. I think it's fun that she's supporting the same charities that Travis loves so much. They're doing it together. It's kind of a fun adventure. When she was at the Children's Hospital a week or two ago, one of the girls in the hospital told her that she really loved Taylor's outfit, and Taylor sent her the same outfit.
Yeah. We talked about that last week.
Nope, that was the Dyson hair wrap.
Oh, right.
This
Okay.
is a new story.
New story, similar situation, new wardrobe.
Yeah, Santa Swift is making it a holly jolly Swiftmas.
Yep, she's just making her own version of the Princess Diaries, and good for her. That's why I'm saying politics. She's gonna be royalty.
And then we've also got Billboard charts came out with their top 100 selling albums of the year.
Yeah.
How many of those do you think are Taylor's?
Top selling albums of the year?
Jason says 5.
Let's see. How many albums did she come out with this year? 2 or 3? 2? One was a re-release?
Just one this year. We only got Tortured Poets
Wow.
this calendar
What
year.
a year. So Jason says 5. She only had one that came out this year. So I'm going to say 6.
11. She has 11 albums in the top 100. She occupies spot 1 and 2. 1 was Tortured Poets, 2 is 1989 Taylor's version. Lover comes in at number 9, which is wild because it is largely considered to be her flop album. Midnights was at 10, Folklore's at 14, Reputation's at 22, Speak Now Taylor's version's at 28, Red Taylor's version 32, Evermore 41, Fearless Taylor's version 81, 1989 original 83.
Interesting.
4 of her albums are in the top 10. 8 are in the top 40.
Hmm.
I know.
She's a machine.
She's a machine.
Those numbers are crazy. And like these albums, I mean, Lover came out in 2019 and hasn't had like, it wasn't one of those albums like Folklore, Evermore. Like it was the start of the Eras Tour, which I think helped. Cruel Summer had a huge time, but it's very interesting to see that album really kind of skyrocket through this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like you, if you're one of the super fans out there and you're like, let's rally and let's give this album some love.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Interesting that 89 original and not Taylor's version.
Well, Taylor's version 1989 is number 2.
Right. Okay.
89
okay.
original.
Sorry,
is
you
83.
said 1 and 2. We didn't say which albums were 1 and 2. My apologies.
I thought I did. It's Tortured Poet is 1.
Okay.
1989 Taylor's version is 2.
Cool.
But yeah, it's crazy. There's been a lot of conversation around this because Billboard did pick Beyonce as pop artist.
Right. Did Billboard tag this with like, we made Taylor Swift famous? Did they do like a nice little like Kanye tag and just really like deep dive into digging their hole?
Yeah, we talked about that. And it's died down a little bit, but then you see the numbers for this year and we're like, to be fair, Billboard, it was an editorial decision. Like it was a bunch of people in a room. It was not solely based on metrics. If it had been solely based on metrics, Taylor would have walked away with it, but it was cultural impact and other things. And so it's interesting to see because I think a case can be made for Taylor to be the pop artist of the decade or the century or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. But I also very much see how Beyonce was named that. She has been Beyonce for 30 years.
Well, since she's been Beyonce Knowles, but like, so 30 years ago, she's 10-ish. And she's on like, was that like Star Search and things like that?
She was like 15, 30 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was a child, a Destiny's Child.
She was Destiny's
Right.
Child,
So,
I think.
but it was like Destiny's Child was like, they just came out and they had them like, let's ship them on TV shows like Smart Guy.
Yeah.
Let's get them on like Tien Tamara's show. Let's do that typical 90s thing.
Yeah.
And then prior to that, she was on Star Search back when that group, I don't think was called Destiny's Child, but it was like 7 instead of 4. It was like 7 members, and there was like everyone sings, but like the dancer, the rapper. It was like you had more of that buckshot type of group. And that video is pretty insane to watch.
I can only imagine. It's Beyonce's career is a force. Like from where she started in a girl group to where she sits today as, she's just Beyonce, which is really incredible. Like, and again, like, I see the argument for both sides. I think both women are incredible and have had incredible careers. It's really a coin flip.
Would you be incredibly angry if you were Beyonce and you've had Beyonce's life and you have Beyonce prestige and there's Taylor who's like always like the two of you are kind of like always kind of fighting, and then that person, Taylor, who is several years younger than you, retires before you do? Would that make you angry? Like that type of like sports rivalry being like, these two are always gonna be neck to neck. We can't wait to see the show off. Like the showdown between these two finally. It's like Rocky before he fights Apollo Creed being like, oh, we tell you now. I
don't think Beyonce really thinks about other people. Like, I think
Beyonce
just lives in her world. Like, I don't think she sees Taylor as competition. I think she's just like, yeah, I'm still Beyonce.
One life gives you lemons.
Yeah. You make lemonade?
Mm-hmm.
Was it genre-defining, genre-changing visual album?
Sweet and tart.
Becky with the good hair. But no, I think it's really interesting to see that like conversation, and it really goes into like the pitting of women against each other. And I think Beyonce has lived her whole career being like, nah.
Yeah, it's there's
like, nah. They try to pit her against her old bandmates, and she's like, if you're talking about me, I'm doing something right. Like, she shouldn't care. I think she's very much just very solid in the fact that she is Beyonce and she could do a country album if she so chooses and get a bazillion Grammy nominations. Like, you can like it, you cannot like it. She doesn't
I'm just
care.
gonna do projects that I think will be fun, and I'm gonna like try to pave the way so my daughter can just shoot up.
Yeah, I think
my daughter become a Disney princess now.
Yeah, her daughter would be incredible.
I mean, she's going to be in the new Mufasa, the Lion King movie.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, she's one of the. I don't know if she's playing like Simba's future mom, but she's one of the.
Cool.
Yeah. Gonna sing, gonna CGI act. I forget how they're doing it. They're doing like some facial stuff, but mostly voiceover work. But yeah, she's
cool.
Yeah. Technically Disney royalty now.
Love that. Speaking of movies, a little less fun. Taylor has found herself in the middle of, well, not in the middle, but adjacent to the It Ends With Us drama with Blake Lively's lawsuit that just came out this past weekend, really.
I have watched the movie. I, like 5 minutes going into the movie, looked up a bunch of that stuff, which is crazy. And it gives me just like, it gives me the ick, and it also just makes me feel like, okay, am I such an outlier that like, my head doesn't go to these things, but I'm looking at this whole situation being like, these guys are just freaking assholes.
They are.
Yeah, it is insane.
I think they really, this summer, capitalized on the unlikability of Blake Lively, and Taylor deals with it a lot too. They're kind of like these blonde popular girls.
Well, let's look at the, like, I don't want to tangent us too much, but that unlikability was the smear campaign. Schmear.
They really, that went wild. It was all over my TikTok. This is all over my TikTok as well, but it was all over my TikTok. And it was, really painting Blake out to be this monster, which two things are true. Is Blake probably slightly difficult? Sure.
I wouldn't say slightly.
Did she get harassed on set from the text messages and the evidence in the New York Times article? Yes.
Yeah.
So they put in there when they were talking about the smear campaign, that, you know, make sure to attach her to Taylor Swift because that continues the narrative of like this kind of mean girl, like anti-feminism, pick me. And so like poor Taylor is just like living her Eras Tour life, spreading like joy and friendship bracelets. And they're over here being like, let's punish Blake for being friends with Taylor.
The whole story behind all, like, what's the lead actor who owns the production company? Bunty?
It's Justin Baldini.
Baldini. Okay. Baldini owns the production company that made this film. His company owns the rights to this book to make it a film and the sequel to it.
Mm-hmm.
And not only is it like, okay, reading all this stuff, Ryan Reynolds is writing a scene during the Writing Actor Guild strike, which is like, okay, kind of.
Well,
it's
do
like,
we know that? Or was that,
Yeah.
that just came out during
the balcony scene, the first scene in the movie.
But do we know that okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So he wrote a bunch of that stuff, and it's kind of like, okay, you know, like that made me feel like one way, but focusing in on it, the issues were really she's feeling. Was she difficult on set? Yes. Was that difficult because she's trying to be like, hey, I need a safer work environment than this?
Yes.
You have the guy who's one of the producers being like, oh, we're doing this scene where you need to give birth to somebody. So here's a video of my wife giving birth. And my wife is naked and she's giving birth. And you're an actress, so you should really see this when you do this scene about giving birth. Blake Lively, who doesn't have children of her own, has never given birth.
Well, and on top of that, she had asked for a closed set for that scene.
Yeah.
And they had it wide open to anybody who wanted to come through.
So you got that stuff. You got the lead actor who's owning the studio being like, oh, yeah, I was really addicted to porn or what? How much do you weigh again? How much do you weigh? Hey, Blake, how much do you weigh? And let's improvise kissing scenes and all this stuff. So Ryan Reynolds and her go in being like, hey, we are going to sue you guys. This is what you need to do. You need to write on this document that moving forward, you aren't going to be asking her how much she weighs or trying to touch her inappropriately or at all without it being like, this is what's going on with the set. So we need like the physical contact coordinator, like that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The intimacy coordinator. No more showing her unwanted videos, especially of things that are naked people. Like going down this litany of things of being like, are you this insane? Was it easier when it was Weinstein doing something that's clearly so vile that when these idiots are like, this is normal, right?
Well, and on top of that, they also had to agree not to disparage her after the fact.
Because they found this, they got a subpoena and they found out all the information. All of this stuff is insane. The fact that they're trying to tie Taylor into this just to keep it relevant, paint them the same way, it's all just BS. It's literally just BS. And so that whole movie ticks me off because this actor's company, and this story is a hard story in a lot of ways. So and like obviously things change from book to movie, but in every moment where it's like clear this guy has done something wrong, by trick of film, they have framed him to be more sympathetic. They've trained their eye to be like, isn't he more approachable? Isn't he a good guy? Like, look at how his face has changed. Like anything to do to be like, this guy is likable because he's an actor and you want to keep hiring this actor and you want to keep seeing him in movies because it's his company.
Yeah.
And he's allowed to do this. Like, show me more sensible.
I felt, because I saw the movie in the theater, I felt that they made him, that choice in the editing of the movie and the directing of the movie was to really kind of put you in Blake's character's shoes where you only see the good. You're like, no, I'm great. Like, it's okay. Like, bad things aren't happening to me. But like, no, looking at it with this lens now, I absolutely think that he got a hero edit because he was in charge.
Totally.
But so, on that note.
On that note, let's get into LMFAO's new party song, Taylor Party Gonna Swift Tonight.
It was a rough
22
transition.
on a hat. All right. Right? That's what we're doing, LMFAO?
No, it's not at all a party. Well, I mean,
What's it? What is it?
LOML.
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 Lots of mothers, lady. Listen, oysters must live.
Sure. So we're going to hit pause. You hit pause. We're in Tortured Poets.
Yeah.
Track 12.
Track 12.
So we'll be right back. Well, Sam.
Is this a song about a DJ?
No.
Is this a song about a Gyllenhaal?
No.
Who is this song about?
Joe Alwyn.
Okay. Just checking. There were just some those are like two like I got a little confused. Or I don't know if confused. I got a little misdirected.
Okay.
So a couple things like, okay, clearly this might be a song about the hurt of a love lost towards a particular person. Have I ever heard Taylor do this before? But for me, there was a couple lines like, it was a fleeting moment.
It was momentary.
Like the downplay of the time versus the amount of the impact. So that's why I wanted to make sure it wasn't like, is this her writing off Gyllenhaal hard, or is this her talking about the DJ? Because the DJ was a quick time. And she might be looking
was a year.
Okay. Well, yeah, a year.
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal was more than a year, but it was also
Gyllenhaal
years
was
ago.
4 months, 3 months.
Oh, what?
Yeah, Gyllenhaal was.
It was only 4 months?
Yeah.
I don't like this anymore. I don't like this at all anymore. All right, so this is Always Be My Always.
Yeah.
It is a sparse song.
Yeah, there's very little.
Very little instrumentation.
Well, it's an Aaron Dessner, so.
Desolate Dessner. Yep. Lot of room to plant and plan and lay things down in this sound field. It's kind of like Joan Baez, might be the wrong analogy, but Because the Night, not Springsteen, but it's not
Patti Smith.
Patti Smith. It has that. It seems like it's a long form poem.
Yes.
It's very much a long form or narrative poem, which is
Tortured Poets.
Tortured Poets
On brand.
Fits to the album.
Yeah.
It's not too. It's not too. It's not Taylor going so full on. I'm making like these incredible descriptive, like rust on the telephone. What? It's not that. But it's also not like shake it off simple. It's like an ambidextrous. It's like a little bit of both.
She starts with, who's going to stop us from waltzing back into rekindled flames?
Yeah. And that right there, I'm looking at that. I'm like, that's bass. That's bass line now. That's bass line.
It felt like a Joni Mitchell song.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. That's steering me into the right direction. It feels like it's a, kind of like an epic. It's kind of like an epic story.
Well, I think it's, it takes you through the relationship. And like you're starting at the end and then she kind of walks you right back through. And so like, if you notice, the person who's talking to her says, "You're the love of my life. You said I'm the love of your life," is what she keeps saying. You said I'm the love of your life. But she only ever says, "You're the loss of my life."
Right, which I feel like that, just for a quick second, I was like, okay, let's look over these lyrics backwards. And if you're looking at who's gonna moonwalk us back, who's gonna stop us from waltzing backwards into a rekindled flame, sure, you wouldn't ever rekindle a flame if you weren't like there was that hope or that positivity or that possibility, that delusion of there was a great thing about it.
Well, and I think two things, as we've said earlier, two things can be true. Mm-hmm. There could be a lot of really good, and there's a lot of why it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this song is pointing out here. Like, just because it died.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean there wasn't good there.
Just because he has abs doesn't mean Bundhole's a good person. Yeah, I get that. Two things can be true. Two things can be true.
Two things can be true.
It's interesting. It's not. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I hate it because I'm a Taylor hater. I don't hate it. I don't like it. It's just soundscape. It's nice. It's if I was at the dentist. Two things can be true. If I was at the dentist and they were giving me a filling and this song was playing, it'd probably calm me down. It's not. You have mentioned this before that this song is this is a Taylor centric album.
This album is a Taylor centric album.
It's not incredibly inclusive.
No, it's not a starting off point album.
Yeah.
When you're like, I want to be a Swiftie. Where do I start?
It's enclosed.
You're not like Tortured Poets is not your lead off album.
I have enough of the Taylor tumor in my brain still that like I can appreciate and connect some dots. It's gonna take me a little while, and it's not to downplay this song. I think like I'm looking at this song and it must be so daunting if you don't toe the line as a Taylor fan on like what your prime song choice is. Because if you put this song up against All Too 10, if you put this song up against All Too 10 and you're like, this is the song though.
Ooh.
Someone who's ride or die All Too 10 is going to fight you, but there's merits to having this be your number one pick.
Well, I think there's two things can be true.
Two things can be true.
But I think, All Too 10 is an anger. Like that is the anger of the heartbreak that, you're like, you're done. You're angry. You've had it. You're never going back. That's it. This one is that you had to end the relationship. There was no other choice. There was a lot of love there. There was a lot of time there. It just, instead of the flame being extinguished immediately, it slowly burnt out.
Yeah. I'll see your anger and raise you that it's fiery versus ashes.
Yeah.
There's maybe that little bit of the coals is
acceptance.
still of some light.
Yeah. This is you've accepted why it's over. And like even with the bridge where she's like, you shit talked me under the table, talking rings and talking cradles. I wish I could unrecall how we almost had it all. Like, Joe loved Taylor, but didn't love Taylor Swift. And like, so he didn't love the pop star. He didn't love that life. And
the person, just be the person. Don't do everything else.
We've been hearing about this. I'd marry you with paper rings, but I wouldn't marry me either. I'm a pathological people pleaser. Like you're seeing the dichotomy of their relationship in this, where he didn't want to be married to Taylor Swift. He wanted to be married to Taylor. But unfortunately, in this case, two things can't be true. You have to take it for the whole.
Right.
And so I think, Dancing Phantoms on the Terrace, are they secondhand embarrassed that they can't get out of bed because something counterfeit is dead? Mm-hmm. It just like, she really kind of walks you through the gut-wrenching emotions of having to be like, you will never love me the way I need to be loved, and having to walk away. And that's a hard realization to come to after 6 years. And, the loss of my life, like she's lost 6 years. She's lost this time. She's invested into this. And, it's a slight anger. Like there's an edge to the lyrics, but it's an acceptance edge.
There's like this principle in therapy of like, instead of like when you feel like the big emotions coming up, it's like walk with it. Mm-hmm. Hold its hand, walk with it. Yeah. It's not about pushing it down. It's not about letting it take over. It's about embracing that it's there as you are in control moving forward. This feels closer to that than a lot of her things, which she seems so in the pocket with being prime emotion, that this feels like that growth, which is compared to other songs on this album where we've talked about, it's like, I'm embracing my toxicity. I'm embracing my negative traits. I'm embracing these things. It's okay. It's okay to just be like, yeah, I'm doing this today.
Well, you're seeing the song, because the songs on Tortured Poets are either potentially about the end of her relationship with Joe, or the whirlwind that she had with Maddie Healy.
Right.
So you're going through this like devastation of like, this person was in my life for so long and now we're done, to this flash romance that I said I would never do again.
Sure.
Brought me to my knees.
Which is kind of like there are lines in this song that made me go, it's got to be about DJ.
DJ Calvin Harris, like,
catch 1 year, man. The super quick. It shouldn't have happened. I got
from 1975. Is that who you're calling
that
DJ?
Guy. Okay.
Oh no, that wasn't even a year. I thought you were talking about Calvin Harris, the actual DJ.
Sorry,
so confused.
Yeah, 1979. Sorry, but it was the shite. Sorry, I had this, and now that I'm trying to find it, I can't freaking find it. It wasn't the talking about the
in
table.
Your suit and tie in the nick of time. You low down boy. You stand up guy. That line, because a lot of people thought maybe that was.
Blowing like the wind kind of was the. You know, it's one glimpse is legendary. When we thought for all time was momentary. Mm-hmm. Like that idea of being like, it's such a quick, like, oh, we finally get to be together, and it's fire and it's quick. I was like, okay, that's.
Oh, when we go from one glimpse, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it's more of like Taylor would be in a relationship, and people were like, "So when are you getting married? You guys been on a couple dates, marry, children, next step." I think that was it, where it was like, oh, and sometimes you get into those relationships, and you're like, "This is it, this is it," and you invest and you figure it out and you work your life around it, and when it doesn't work, it's that kind of you've let yourself down,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's where she was going with this. Yeah, I think I really like. I would hold this song up to All Too 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite All Too 10, but it's kind of like a.
Yeah, sure. It's not.
It's
10
All Too
minutes.
10
It's
went to
not
therapy.
Epic roar. It's All Too 10 went to therapy, and it's now pouring a little bit of Jack in their coffee in the car, without driving. Without driving, they're just sitting there, just like, okay, I'm just gonna calm down for a little bit. I'm gonna balance out, and then we're gonna go. Like this is Jack and coffee. This is Jack Antonoff in coffee.
No, it's Aaron Dessner.
Which is Dessner. That's the Dessner right there. There wasn't any coffee in that cup.
I think this song is a song where like this is a song for the Swifties who've been through it and like have these relations where you're like, you know, yeah, I've been in this relationship where I feel like this is endgame, but then I realized that I was making something work that didn't work anymore.
Sure.
And, you know, it's so easy to fall back into it. It's so easy to stay in this routine. It's so easy to keep doing what we're doing, but I'm not happy and I have to figure it out. And that's always that kind of scary moment where you're looking at it and you're like, you've said I'm the love of your life, but I don't believe you.
Right. You say I'm the love of your life while you're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, yeah, it's like I'm tracing through the whys, and that's kind of, it's so much more wisdom and experience in a Taylor song than what we get usually. And I feel like that's why it's way more reserved. She's like, this is not even worth me getting worked up about.
Oh, see, I feel differently. I feel it's I've been worked up about this and I've accepted that it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Nothing will change him.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't continue to try.
I can see that.
I think it's the acceptance of this has to end and this has to be why, because people are who they are and you have to accept them at that.
Okay. I can see that. I don't agree with that, but I can definitely see that. I think just for me, from my perspective, it's kind of like that, relating it to how I view this song. I'm accepting the fact that I'm like, there's no reason for me to beat this song down. There's no reason for me to try to find a way to lift this song up. This is a song that I will understand people really like. This is also a song that I'm gonna be like, if you like this, this has got to be like top tier for you.
Yes, I would 100% agree with that. Yeah. I think it's this will be one of the songs that people come back to. It'll be in the top of the conversations of songs in Taylor's discography.
Yeah, this is gonna be, if you got this album or you got this CD or it's on your phone. This is a once a week on the way to or from work. Easy. You're gonna be playing Blake Lively montages in your brain.
No, it's Blake. For Blake, it's Mad Woman right now. For Blake, we play Mad Woman, which I believe we've done. So we should roll the dice and see what we'll do to start off the new year.
All right. Each and every week and every year, we roll the Jill Petruzziello. Hope you and your fellow are doing well at your golf simulator or whatever it is you're doing. We're rolling for an album. We're rolling for a song. Only thing we don't have is Reputation.
Still no more Reputation.
Still no more rep. So let's go for an album. And she does not have 17 albums. So.
Yet.
Juan.
Oh, debut.
Taylor
Swift.
The Super Mega Ultra Deluxe Hidden Secret Easter Egg version. Do we have 9?
We do have 9.
We have a 9.
Yeah. Should have said no.
To this podcast, to rolling the dice, to the Krampus sweater.
No, the Krampus sweater is always a yes.
It's a year-round sweater.
Always a yes. Yeah. Krampus should always be a part of the
Hail Krampus.
conversation.
Yeah. Should have said no.
Should have said no.
Should have said no. Okay.
So we're going to be back next week as we end the year.
End the year.
Should have said no to ending this year? No.
Should have said no. Should have said no. You know what? One more year.
One more year.
We're not done with 2024 yet. 2025 can wait.
I'm ready for 2025.
Oh, you don't like your dumpster fire well done?
No, I'm good. I have no expectations for 2025. Bring it on. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, make sure to like, follow, rate, subscribe, review, tell all of your friends and any Krampuses you may know.
Yeah, if they're stranger just met on a bus, if it's somebody in a one-horse open sleigh, like just yell it at them, like, listen to this rough talk.
Leave it on for Santa.
Yeah, leave it on to Santa. Milk, cookies, and Taylor.
Yeah. Well, it is Swiftmas after all.
Yes. Merry Swiftmas, everyone.
Merry Swiftmas. Happy holidays. We'll see you for one more.
One more.
Before the new year.
Yeah.
Thanks again. I'm Kait the Swiftie.
And I'm all up in your Bear's Nest Krampus, not so swift Sam. Sorry, it was just trying not to do the French Russian guy, and I was trying to really want to be me. Be me. Krampus.
Why be anybody else?
Mama's in the back drinking Mama Shevitz, probably drunk texting Lenny Kravitz.
Could you blame her?
No.
All right. Well, we'll be back next year. Thanks, guys. Next week.
Next week.